to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
Okay, here we are. It is Saturday evening. We are tucked away in the war room in the high desert of southern Idaho. I'm here with Mr. Kevin Tarver. I wasn't even sure we were going to do one tonight, Kevin.
First day of fall, man. First day of fall.
Well, no. It's officially 7:54 is when fall begins.
Oh. Well, I didn't know it was getting off technical. But
7:54, and this is actually...
Does the temperature drop to 7:54?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
It's pretty freaking hot. I went hunting this morning and sat out in the blind trying to stick an antelope with an arrow, and it started warming up about 11, and I packed it in and said, "Oh, time to go."
High for tomorrow is 65.
Is it? I'm going to go out in the
Didn't mean to sidetrack the whole thing
No.
here, but I just butchered it up with...
You're good. I'm going to go
Ready for it.
tomorrow
Ready for fall.
and see. So if it's nice and cool tomorrow, I'll be good. So I like this time of year because as a concealed carrier, it's a hell of a lot easier to conceal my gun.
Oh, man, it's so nice.
Sweatshirts and hoodies and...
Throw your jacket on. Man, I might have 2 or 3 on me.
You know, I spent 1 year carrying 2 guns. 2 guns.
The whole year?
Whenever I went out.
I'll do it at times.
Whenever I went out,
man,
I had 2 firearms on me.
What were they?
It was at any given time. Let's see, it was my. What was I carrying? Usually it was my Springfield Armory XD9 subcompact, and I would waist carry it, and then I had a. I know you don't like those ones, do you?
It's a nice gun. It really is.
Safety
But
issues?
I had somebody that wanted it, so I'm like, all right, you can take it. Get out.
And then I have my Dean always laughs at this name, but what it was a 9x18 Makarov clone. So it kind of looked like a Walther.
Right.
So it was it was Hungarian. So it was a FEG, PA 63, I think.
Damn, shoot somebody with the FEG, huh?
Shooting somebody with the FEG.
Just humiliation to injury.
That's right. It's actually a pretty slick little gun, and I've only done 1 gun trade in my life.
Did it take, you said it was a modified, it was a clone. Did it take a normal caliber? Or
No,
did it
9x18 Makarov.
Oh, wow.
9x18 Makarov, and I would ankle carry it.
Where'd you get those? You had to order them in bulk, I assume.
Oh, no. When I bought it years ago, you could buy them for cheap. I mean, they're coming in like $180, but they were a good little gun.
Right.
They were ultralight. It was like an aluminum type frame type deal. It would bite your hand. It would hurt really bad when you shot it.
Okay.
But what you'd have to do is you'd have to go online and order all the like different wolf springs, and you could respring it. But that's like my very first concealed carry gun ever.
Can you find decent rounds for it, or is it?
Oh yeah, I mean I was buying a lot of wolf ammo, a lot of like
All
golden
ball ammo?
brown bear Russian stuff.
Right.
But you can buy, you can get hollow points. You could buy some new stuff, but that's back when I had like zero money.
I have cases of that bear stuff just sitting around.
9?
No.
What? Oh, you got it like probably like 223 and.
I don't even know what all I have. It's just a bunch of crap. I got one. I did kind of the same thing just because it was a cheap gun. So I'm like, hey, let's go just blow this thing up and just shoot it until it falls apart. It was what's that? It was a Russian. Come on, man! Everybody's thinking of it. It's the Russian.
AK-47?
No, before that, like $100 gun, $100 rifle.
Oh yeah.
I
can't remember. Go on, keep talking, and we'll think about it here.
Anyway, yeah.
SKS?
No,
that's
before that.
Oh wow, go on. I don't know then. I'm not a rifle guy.
It was I can't even think of what it was. There's millions of them. You can buy them by the case if you want.
Right.
And they're like $100 a piece. Some of them are practically new, and you get a bayonet, so that's nice.
Sweet.
And it's all 7.62 by 51 rimmed. And so you got to get the
Moisin Nagants?
There you go.
Yeah.
So you got to get the rim, and you can't find it. So they got the bear, and it's so cheap. It's like, just give me a ton of it, man. So it's just sitting there.
At one point, I wanted to buy one of those and like sporterize it, and you could change the bolt handle and get a nice scope on there, and do some other stuff to it. And I wanted to go out and like have it like be my coyote gun.
That sounds like what I was going to do with the High Point.
Yeah. So
with the ACOG.
but it was cheap, and I was gonna do it. I never did. I heard horror stories. This is back when I lived in Kansas. People were buying them, and they still have the what's that? Oh, the Cosmoline on them. Yeah. I mean, some guys said that they were so tight and so not well machined that you'd actually have to take a 2x4 just to get the bolt to open.
Wow.
So like they'd never been shot before.
Oh. Did they know what they were doing, or were they just taking a 2x4?
That was you were buying them. I mean, but you're right. Gun stores would get them in by like the cases.
Yeah, you can get them you could get a case of them still in the wooden case, unfired, for nothing. I'm like,
yeah. You wanted a whole case, didn't you?
I did. I almost got it. I'm like, all right, it's going down, boys. Everybody get in the gun.
Give those rifles to the guys you didn't like.
That's my backup.
Here's your Mosin and your chunk of 2x4. Good luck.
I'm over here with PMags. You can do it, guys.
little bolt action over there.
Yeah. You could build a little cult with that, man.
I remember those things.
All right, boys.
Like really long too, weren't they?
No, not too bad.
They're
heavy. I mean, they're all wood and everything.
Yeah, be cool.
Not too heavy.
Be a cool wall hanger.
Yeah, I've never hung it on the wall. If you shoot it, it's fun enough to shoot, and it's so cheap. Why not?
Do you want to get one and hold above your head and yell, Wolverine?
And when you run out, you got a bayonet.
There you go.
Or a marshmallow roaster.
Freaking rifles, man! That was back. I mean, when I was still. It's back in the early days of firearms for me, as far as when those were. Yeah, I don't even know if you could find one now.
A Nagant?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't tried. You used to hear about them all the time.
Yeah, they flooded the place for a while. But we was always rifle shooters, and that was our thing, trying to get the most distance on a shot, and it's a good round. But then they ruined me, man. You come out with the Lapua rounds and all this stuff, and it's like, oh man, now you got to bring in trigonometry and everything else, and have your slide ruler, and it's just too much work.
Oh yeah.
And everybody, we always shot iron sights, and it's like, no scopes, that's cheating. And now, yeah, they got rounds that'll fly flat a long way.
Oh yeah. Well, them Mosins. You could be going for about $150. I think people are $135.
Yeah, they were.
That's
cheap.
Back when I bought that little handgun that you could find it for cheap, like anywhere.
I almost got one. I remember seeing it, and I was like,
It came with the cool big leather holster with the big flap.
With a flap on top. Yeah.
So give me just a minute here. People are saying the sound is really choppy again, so I'm going to go ahead and try to just unplug this mic and try to use one of these other ones.
Okay.
So, okay, guys, unplugging this. Hopefully, it's not going to freeze everything up.
Boom! It's off.
Okay, guys, I'm counting on you guys watching live to tell me if you can hear us still. I know for those on the podcast, we're just trying to do two things at once here. So let me know if you can hear me still. See what it defaults to. Anybody? If they're not responding, maybe they can't hear. Anybody? We home? Well, Morgan, can you hear me?
Everybody's drunk. It's
Josh,
first day of fall.
Can you hear me?
They're partying.
Mike, can you hear me? Oh, Josh says it sounds good. There we go. Okay, we'll just stick with that. It's $60 wasted right there. I'll have to figure something out. But anyhow, that was back in the early days of. So let me tell you about that firearm, that FEG PA-63. And
I would just like to tell people.
What do you carry? I'm carrying a FEG.
Carrying a FEG. You got a problem with that?
So no, that gun, I That was I bought it, and it was way before I started carrying. And then when I started carrying it, I met this guy online. This story gets a little creepy.
Oh, yeah.
So
early days of the internet. Huh?
yeah. So the best way to I was out in the middle of like nowhere, Kansas. Okay, so
meeting guys online in nowhere, Kansas.
That's the way it goes. That's just what we did over there in the Flint Hills.
Hey man, you carried a fag. I got no problem with that.
At least I didn't make him walk. What the hell's that?
Man, that's your. There you go. I got it.
So anyhow,
I'm a professional.
we lived in Kansas. I didn't know anyone, and I was online, and I found this is a Kansas concealed carry forum. Online forum. Talked about firearms, Kansas gun laws, everything.
Right.
And so I got on there and spoken around and got on some other online, not just for Kansas. There's one called Defensive Carry. You familiar with that?
I think so.
Okay. Anyhow, I'm not a part of that one anymore, but I got on there, and this guy got a hold of me from where was he from? I think he was from he's up in he was up in Missouri. And he got a hold of me and, sent me a message, and I was letting him know what I carried and all that stuff, online, just putting on a picture of my carry gun because that was what the thread was about. And I needed to get a holster for it. So he sent me a couple holsters in the mail for it. Real nice guy. In fact, we ended up being friends. I met him one time. And that's another show for another day. I could feel it, but great guy. But he helped me out with that, and so I started carrying that. And what the holsters that drive me nuts now. It was a collapsible Uncle Mike's nylon holster with a little metal clip.
We all had an Uncle Mike's at one time.
We did.
I probably still got one somewhere.
Oh, I do. It's the one I carried this gun in is in that cupboard over there. But so I carried.
Can't find nothing else. Just Uncle Mike will fit anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it fits good or
a drill or a handgun or anything.
Whether it fits good or great. Josh posted on here hashtag concealed carry Tinder. That's where I find my Feg PA-63. Said he's or Buffalo Bob.
When you go to prison, never accept gifts.
There you go. Anyhow, I carried that for years in that little. For a year at least in that little collapsible holster till I saved up my money and bought another one. But different firearm, different holster. That's when I went to the XD9 subcompact.
I got a beautiful new holster that came with my cannon.
Oh yeah, Tarver, you better hold that up. Finger off the trigger. Hold it up. Show everyone what you got.
I gotta spin it around on my.
Tarver got himself a Canic TP9.
Yes.
And he's had it. How long have you had that now?
What, a week?
A week, and it still has yet to see a round fired through it.
I'm here today.
That alone should that gun should be mine. I should take it from you because that's like firearm abuse.
Well, I got the Mantis system and I've been playing with it. So.
The Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis. There you go.
The Mantis. What do you think of that Mantis system?
I like it. I do like it. It's very unforgiving.
It lets you know what you're doing wrong.
It's brutal.
Don't pull punches.
If anybody's familiar with it, the Mantis system, it's an app you put on your phone and a little adapter you put on your rail on the front of your. Pretty much any gun, I guess.
Yeah, any gun that's got a rail, and you can actually, it doesn't even have to have a rail because you can actually stick it.
And it will tell you how you're shooting, and it's so brutal that I can hit a 93, ping, 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 and it's telling me down and to the left, I'm like, dude, I'm hitting a 93. How much down and to the left is it? I mean, it's a damn near perfect shot.
It measures
it is brutal.
Every movement.
It's like you're still down. I'm like, well.
Did you get to the point where it shows you where you followed the lines and it shows you where you actually move the firearm?
I do. Of course, I would have to read the instructions to understand a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've seen it. It's the 3 different colors before the pull, after the pull, and
yeah. You'll have to check it out. It's pretty cool.
And some other color just for
red, yellow, and green, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking. I got the flyer hanging on the wall there on the door.
Yeah, it's a good system though. I mean, it's brutal. It will dial you in.
Oh yeah.
It will. What's cool is when you're shooting and even if you're hitting a little off or whatever, if it's saying you're going down a little bit, you're going down a little bit, it'll start giving suggestions. Try this, try that. And I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
Well, what's really cool is you're doing all this dry fire.
Yeah.
Dry fire at home. You don't have to have a special electronic target or anything. You just have to have a bullseye on the wall, really, if that.
I aim at the TV. I'm not lying. It's a little unnerving.
Do you wait till the view is on? Do you use that while you're watching the view?
I just find anything on there. But it's a little uncomfortable feeling because you're sitting here and you get comfortable with dry firing a couple hundred times a day. You just dry firing all over the place. And it's like, you got to remember, that it is
a firearm.
I got several firearms that look alike.
Yeah.
And it's a little awkward at times. I don't want to,
Well, and you always want to make sure that,
boom! Oh, shit.
You still want to obey gun safety, so it's not like you're going to, you're aiming at the TV or a wall, you're make sure no one's on the other side of that wall or there's no one in the room. Or
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, you pretty much live by yourself.
Yeah, there's nobody around there.
So, anyhow, it's a great tool, and the cool thing is you can actually load it up, and you can use it with a loaded firearm, too.
They have other drills in here on the app for doing live fire, and I'm like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's worth it. What did it cost? Like $150? Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, download the app, and you're good to go. And it's got a rechargeable battery, so you don't have to buy batteries for it. It's been turned into a commercial for this thing.
You'd think I'd be getting some kind of kickback.
Yeah,
or
they should be.
No one's gonna pay me to do anything. So, but where were we going? We got off on a side tangent, didn't we?
We did. We jumped.
We started talking about fall.
We kind of from like second number one, I kind of railroaded everything. But there was a shooting in the news.
There was
in Texas, in Abilene.
And that was with the right. Is that the Rite Aid one?
That was with the. Oh no, they didn't. That didn't hardly make the news.
Which was the Rite Aid one?
Yeah.
What shooting in Abilene? What was this?
Did
I hear? Did I miss this one?
It was a couple old country boys sitting at a dumpster.
Oh yes.
It was a redneck battle, and that. What's your thoughts on that?
Let's back this up, and I'm sure I'm not even sure I posted that to the page. So what I'll do is I'll post. It's a video that came out. There's two guys met up with this other guy out in an alley by the trash. They're arguing over, I don't even know what trash. And they ended up, the two guys ended up shooting the one guy who was essentially unarmed. I don't know.
I'm hearing he had a baseball bat beforehand, but it did not show in the video. And you can go to YouTube and just put Abilene, Texas shooting.
Yeah, I'll put it on the Facebook page, and I'll also throw it, if anyone even bothers to look, I'll throw it in the show notes.
Yeah, it was quite the shooting.
It was. I've read a lot of stuff on it. So I'm not quite sure what they were fighting over. I do know that a guy was there with his son, and then there was the guy with those two had a gun. The son had a shotgun, like a street sweeper type deal. And his dad had a little, I don't know.
Small, looked like a shield.
Shield, something like that. And I know the guy with the baseball bat
But we didn't see the bat.
We didn't see the bat.
In the video.
And we barely saw him, but his wife was there, and she was videotaped recording the whole thing.
It was a mess.
And I didn't even know what they're fighting about. They're screaming and yelling. And the one guy was screaming and yelling. The old man with the gun had his gun out, and he had it in front of him, and he wasn't pointing, but he's like, you come within 2 feet of me, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
You come within 2 feet of me, I'm going to kill you. He just kept saying that over and over.
Neither one of them would back up.
And and it was stupid. It's over, from what I'm reading, it's over freaking garbage. Yeah, they ended up shooting and killing this guy.
And got charged with murder.
Which
will probably be downgraded, but they're going to.
And I think they got out on bond, too.
Yeah, $25,000.
So.
A low bond.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's I don't know. It seemed to me like there was something that we didn't see in that video. Something.
Some meth.
Yeah, some meth.
But
there's something had gone on in the past. Like something had worked up to this point.
Yeah, they had a history.
They had a history. You could tell. The old man sitting there with that firearm with his gun in front of him saying, you come within 2 feet, I'm going to shoot you. 2 more, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
He wasn't even shoot you. I think he said kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
And the other guy kept threatening, I'm going to kill you. I'm like,
and that guy in the back, the kid in the back swinging that freaking shotgun around like he's Chuck Norris with a set of nunchucks or something. You know, and I was waiting for that gun just to go off, to be honest with you. But here's the thing: that old man with the firearm, to me, it looked like he wanted to kill someone.
It looked like it because if you have a firearm, you should avoid confrontation like that. It as much as possible. Okay, before I was carrying a firearm, if somebody was to get in my face, I get back in their face. Now, if you get in my face, okay, brother, that's cool. You have a good day, because I know how ugly this can get.
Right.
And don't put me in that situation, and don't start wrestling me. Hey, it's all right, brother. I don't want no trouble. Go on about your business, because it's not worth it. Somebody's going to die. You're going to have, even if it's a good shoot, it could cost you a fortune. That's why you need to get the, what do you call it, shooter's insurance?
Yeah, they can still carry insurance.
Yeah. I mean, it can cost you a fortune to defend yourself. You don't know. And this video, even though we're not seeing, because we're hearing details that may be true, may not, that wasn't in the video, they may have a little better of a case, but the video looks terrible.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to lose your firearm rights.
Yeah.
You're probably going to go to jail for something, maybe not forever. And it's going to cost you a ton of money. And what did you prove? To me, it looked like, have you ever seen guys that talk themselves up into things?
Yeah.
And then they're faking it so they don't know when to back down.
Right.
It's because they're playing this fake role, kind of. I don't know if that's making any sense.
No, it does. And
and it's like, bro, calm down.
Well, what kills me is you
Go
got
inside.
the guy that got shot. You got his wife there, and she's got her phone out, and she's recording the whole thing. Freaking go dial 911.
Yeah.
Get a law enforcement officer there. None of them even thought to go get law enforcement. That tells me right there that this had been happening for quite a while, and he was just getting ready to boil over. That guy was pissed,
and he was challenging him. He was getting. I'm like, anybody with a firearm, you don't know. Don't challenge him. I mean, go away.
It's a public alley too, and so the guy with the gun, if he's like, "Don't come within 2 feet of me, or I'm going to kill you." Guess what, dude? Turn around and walk back into your yard.
And I'm going to go call the cops. Hey, this guy just said, I'm in an alley, and he said if I'll get within 2 feet of him, he's going to kill me. And he was out here with a handgun.
Yeah, and he's got
call the cops. And then the other guy, if he had a guy showed up with a bat, nobody's being threatened. Call the cops from inside your house. Don't grab your gun and run out there to protect your trash.
And your inbred-looking son with the shotgun.
And it was, I don't know what was going on with that. It was amazing.
Yeah, there was, Morgan says it sounds like he had plenty of time to retreat from that situation.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw the video, Morgan, but there was plenty of time.
The whole video was retreat. You should have, each side should have been retreating.
The video should never have happened.
No.
I mean, it should have just.
I wouldn't even have went out there. If somebody was being stupid around my trash, I'm going to call the cops and say, hey, I got some fool out here.
So we're looking at,
if he gets up to my house, we're going to have trouble.
So why would you got the guy with the firearm standing there. I don't know why he was even there. He could have went to his house anyhow. He should have been the one with the, thinking correctly. But then you've got this guy with a bat, or if he had a bat, I don't know. Supposedly he did.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
Screaming and yelling and ranting.
Threatening to kill everybody.
Someone is there with a firearm telling you that if you don't quit, if you come within 2 feet, I'm going to shoot you and kill you. Why the hell would you stick around?
Yeah.
Why would you still provoke this guy?
I don't know.
You don't have a firearm. You might have a baseball bat. Why would you?
I don't know. Why would the guy with the firearm leave his house to confront a guy at the trash?
I don't know.
And the son saw the dad confronting him, ran into the house, got a shotgun, and then came to back him up. It's like, good grief, man. What a mess.
And the fact that this is what kills me. The fact that the wife was there with the phone. It's like,
you're not going to shoot my husband.
Recording it all.
Yeah, they did.
Makes me think that it was, come on, honey, bring your phone just in case you got to record something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was, they knew that there was going to be a confrontation. Let's get it on. Let's get it on film. Let's record it. I don't know, not like the whole scenario was planned, but that it was, they knew when they went out there was going to be a confrontation, so let's be prepared. Obviously, because those guys brought their guns. And that guy was, I'm not picking on the dead person, but he was stupid enough to go out there, and all he brought was his wife and his cell phone.
Well, it looks like they had, the cops probably knew both of them pretty well. And probably had been out there already on some of that. It's just inexplainable. I just can't wrap my head around it. I'm like, now somebody's dead. And you may have hated the guy, but now he's dead. Now you're in jail.
Right.
Now you're facing charges over trash.
And that guy, now I'm going to tell you, that old man with that firearm, he was stone cold. He showed no emotion while he's standing there. He just kept staring at the guy, repeating, almost like he was challenging.
He was. They were both.
You come within 2 feet of me, I'm going to kill you.
Take a swing. Take a swing, he kept saying. I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
You're pushing yourself into situations.
How are you saying you're in fear for your life? Go stay in your home, call the cops.
You're challenging him.
Yeah, and the nut.
You come hit me, I'll show you what I'll do.
And I'm going to kill you. And the unarmed nut was doing the same thing. It's like, good grief.
That guy was like a enraged bull, though.
He was excited.
Pushing stuff around. He was screaming. Spit was flying.
Over trash.
Over garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't make no sense.
Maybe he didn't separate his recycling.
It was Texas, so I mean, if it was California, okay. Somebody might hit you in the head with a bike lock over that.
Right. But I don't know. That's crazy. So there was that shooting. Then there was that one at the Rite Aid warehouse.
Yeah, you didn't hear much about that.
No, well, you didn't because there's too much other stuff about Kavanaugh or whatever going on right now.
Yeah, what? Oh, good.
And it didn't fit their agenda. So what it was a disgruntled employee. I guess she showed up to work, and it was a female. It was a black female. She showed up to work. I think she was like a temp worker. Is what I heard.
Yeah.
She was happy, go lucky. Everything was good to go. I don't know what happened. And sometime during the day, she snapped, went home, got a gun, and came back.
Yeah. Well, she killed 2 people and herself? Or 3 people and herself?
3 people and herself, I think.
Okay.
But it didn't fit the agenda. It was a
didn't hear a word about it.
It was an African American female.
Yeah.
So that's not going to fit anybody's agenda.
And it needs to be an AR too.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get the right firearm. So you didn't hear much of that at all.
No, I mean
you had to dig for that.
You did. So we were talking. I do that radio show on Fridays, and I think this is going to be a topic that we'll delve into a little more, but we'll touch on it today. So I'll let everyone know what I've done is I think we do some good podcasts, right? I think our podcasts are good. Sometimes we do a lot of
waiting to see if they drop off.
I'm waiting to see. we got South Carolina's in the house, so there you go. He didn't float away. But we talk about stuff. We talk about news stories. We do some random conversation, which is fun. I enjoy it.
Huh?
But each show, I think I want to start doing a little more like a main topic. We'll still do all that other stuff, but we're gonna have like a main topic. I'm starting to compile a list right now, and I think probably starting next show we're gonna start doing some main topics. But anyhow, the shooting down at Rite Aid, one of our main topics is going to be defensive mindset. So when you have like the defensive mindset, I think that's what. Let me check my notes here. Make sure I'm going to cover what I want to cover. You don't listen to my radio show, do you, Tarver?
Most of the time,
you're sleeping, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm not getting started yet.
So defensive mindset. What is defensive mindset? What do you think of when I say defensive mindset?
We'll be aware of your surroundings.
Okay, and do you have to have a firearm to have a defensive mindset?
It always helps.
It always helps.
You don't have to, but
right.
I'd rather have more tools than not.
Right. So there's a lot of people. These people that were at this Rite Aid distribution center or whatever it was. And I don't think, because this was up in this was in Maryland is where this was at. I just remembered. It's up in Maryland, so I didn't, they may have been like anti-gun in that. Who knows? But if you're there, you're at work, you don't have a firearm, can you still have a defensive mindset?
Yes.
There's certain things that you can do, right? You can think about, what can I do to escape? What do I need to do? You can think about the stuff ahead of time. Do I need to attack? Do I need to barricade? What can I do? Where are the exits? It's good to know this stuff ahead of time.
Right.
So,
and it sounds like you're overthinking things, and 99% of the time you are.
Oh,
but for that one time that fool comes in the Rite Aid,
right?
You be those kind of things. It's just like sitting in a restaurant and keeping your face to the door, or a lot of people, and I don't know if it causes. I hadn't caused any conflict, but if I see somebody that looks, and I've done this in stores all over the place, wherever I'm at, if I see somebody that just looks angry, just looks unnaturally angry, I'm like, I'm not turning my back on you, because a lot of people don't want to. They don't want to stare at them or anything or cause confrontation. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not turning my back on you, because you'll get a box cutter or something to your throat when you ain't, because you don't want to. No, keep your eyes on them.
Well, it's good to know where you're at and know what your options are, I guess. So here's a question. I didn't think about it too much when I was younger, but now that I got kids, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I'm at home. Let's say, you got people, you got loved ones that you want to protect. So I constantly. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks about this. What am I going to do if someone comes into my house, breaks into my house at night? What am I going to do if someone kicks open my door at 2:00 in the morning? I've got to have a defensive mindset. I've got to have a plan. I got to have already thought this through, so I know what's going to happen. So you just take that and you put it like, okay, where else do I go? I go to Walmart. What would I do at Walmart? Where's an exit? What would I do? Where am I going to go? That kind of thing. Where am I going to park at Walmart? If I'm going to Walmart at 11 o'clock at night, should I park way out in the North 40 where there's no lights? I'm going to try to park up close to the building. Just kind of plan your day, plan your route, plan what your options are.
I always park at the TLE. It's the easiest in and out.
There you go.
Tire Lube and Express for anybody. And speaking of home, now this is going to make me sound crazy, but every door inside my house is locked.
Every door?
Every door. You come through that front door, I might hear you, I might not. The dog's going to make noise. Each door that you have to go through gives me another couple seconds, half second. Gives me a little more time.
So you lock bathroom door if you're not in the bathroom, you lock bathroom doors and that kind of stuff? Is that what you're saying, or are you just talking exit doors?
I'm talking interior doors.
Interior doors, too. Gotcha.
Bedroom door. Because that's another door you have to get through. There's more noise you have to make. That gives me a couple more seconds.
That's not a bad thing to do, really.
It sounds kind of crazy.
No, it doesn't.
It's another delay. It's going to slow you down. It's going to give me another second to wake up. It's going to give me another second to realize what's happening, because that's the worst thing. The delay in something happening and you realizing something happened, because pretty much any time you in a shooting, the first people, they're dead.
Right.
Before the rest of them say, oh, crap, this is a shooting.
Something's going on.
Yeah. So it's always good to bring your friends.
Yeah.
Wherever you go. And hopefully, you push them out there and let them get shot. And so that delay, just that one extra little thing, extra little time, extra amount of noise you have to make.
Dog, something.
Yeah.
Dogs aren't a bad thing, even the little yappy ones that I want to squish under my heel all the time.
Yeah, just give you that.
So where I live, my driveway is quite the little driveway. It's like a half mile long.
Right.
And even being here during the day, I lock all the exterior doors.
Right.
They're locked. I mean,
I always lock my exteriors.
Always lock them. I mean, I don't want someone sneaking up on me. I mean, that's just me. I've done that anywhere, whether I lived in town or way out here in the country. It doesn't matter to me. That's just that much harder. It's part of my defensive mindset.
I've seen too many home invasions in the middle of the daytime.
Right.
And you can YouTube that, just daytime home invasions. And there's people, you can watch a lot of videos where one lady was in her kitchen, cooking, middle of the daytime. People broke in. They killed her.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because you're not expecting it at that time.
Well, that's when they're going to get you.
Yeah.
You're in there cooking dinner, you're in there.
See, we're starting to sound paranoid.
I was going to say, you're in the kitchen playing with your meatloaf. So, defensive mindset and like being in town, I'll tell the story, and I may have told it before on here, but this is just a few years ago, but I was at Wendy's one day with my family. We were getting lunch.
Right.
And I noticed that it was pretty quiet, actually, but there were some kids sitting over by the window, and there's like I think there's about 4 of them. And it looked like the manager or someone was out there with a phone, kind of standing by where the kids were at. And she kept walking to the back and walking over to where the kids were staring outside the window. And we got our food and we sat down and we're kind of eating. I'm kind of keeping an eye on stuff. And I noticed that there's this car with some other kids in it that keeps circling the Wendy's. And whenever they go by where these kids are sitting, and they can see them through the big, glass window they have right there, they're like throwing birds and yelling and screaming stuff at each other. And the manager,
Like at the dumpster.
yeah, like at the dumpster.
Yeah.
And the manager lady, she's out there, and I can tell she's giving someone, I'm presuming it was law enforcement, a description of the car.
Right.
And law enforcement never showed up when I was there, and they just kept circling, and they kept yelling obscenities. And I looked at my wife, said, we need to go. So we gathered up, the kids hadn't finished eating yet, but we gathered up everything, and we went ahead and took off. So I don't know whatever happened. It would have been in the news had something really bad happened, but I caught that. I saw that could possibly be a problem, whether or not someone had a firearm or ran a car through the window. I mean, you don't want to be there for that. So I was able to avoid that. So just be aware of your surroundings, know what's going on. I mean, it's part of having that defensive. As a parent, I don't know why you wouldn't have a defensive mindset.
Well, you need to notice stuff, and the biggest problem most people have is they don't want to be involved in it, so they want to ignore it. And It's like, don't ignore it. Notice these things. If something's looking crazy, get out of there. If it's not, don't turn your back on it.
Notice that crazy fool's following you around Walmart, and he may be looking to snatch your kid. I mean, it happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, I had a incident in Walmart where it was it didn't turn into anything, but I was watching the whole time. This guy was not real. He was a religion of peace guy, and he was not happy, and he was very angry, and he was walking around, and he was just glaring at everybody, and I'm standing there, and I'm just smiling and looking away, and I have his winter. So I have my hand in my pocket, and I'm like, peace, brother.
That's right.
You come up here to me. Blah, blah, blah. No.
We're gonna experience peace.
Yeah. We're gonna have a meeting of the minds. So I don't know if I should say that, but that's the way it is. That's
You believe in Jesus?
You're about to.
You're about to meet him.
So yeah, I guess I shouldn't say that, but
no, I mean
that's the truth. I mean, it's like, hey, man, this dude was hot. He was fired up.
Right.
And I'm like, you ain't pulling none of that with me.
Right.
I'm not gonna turn my back on you. I'll walk backwards if I have to. But what you don't know is I have my hand on my firearm too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm getting out of there. I'm same kind of thing. It's not worth a confrontation. It's not coming at me. I'm not bringing it to him. I'm leaving. But this guy was maybe no problem at all. But
right.
It didn't set well with me.
Well, I know there's been numerous women in my class that have taken my class, but because of, and it sounds, man, I thought I heard one, and then I heard two, and then I heard three of incidences that have happened to them at rest areas.
Wow.
Between here and Boise. One lady said, I can't remember the exact story. I'm probably leaving something out, but she stopped at the rest area, and I think, I can't remember exactly. She went in and used the facilities and was coming back out, and she noticed there was someone who had pulled up there, and they were kind of like looking at her, and they wanted to like chat with her, and she wasn't wanting to do it. And so to talk to him, she just wanted to get in her vehicle and go, and she was able to get in the vehicle as this person was getting out of theirs, and he was, and I think she said something about she wasn't interested in talking to him. She started up her vehicle, reached over, locked her door. That person tried to get in her passenger side door.
Wow.
And as she's pulling away, the guy's beating on the trunk of her car. So, I mean, bad things can happen. There's another lady that pulled up. She pulled into a rest area, and she learned a lesson, and she was, one of the truck drivers actually helped her out and taught her this lesson. She pulled up, and the only spot to park was in between these two semis that were idling. And she pulled up there, and she was sitting in her car. She's getting ready to get out, and she'd opened the door to get out. And she noticed that there's feet. Someone hopped out of the semi at the tractor on the other side. She saw him walking around, and this truck driver came around and stood there and stood by the front of her car, and she was like worried about him. And he kind of looked at her and then like looked up, and she could hear someone had walked up to the other side of her vehicle that she didn't notice.
Right.
And then and when that guy looked up at this guy, she could hear someone running away. And the truck driver came up to her and says, "Ma'am, I'm just going to warn you right now. Don't ever pull up." And he goes, "It's not me, but it's unsafe. do never come up and pull up and park between two idling semis.
Right.
Because they're loud, no one can hear you, and no one can see anything.
And there's a lot of space to throw you in the back of that thing.
Yep.
And the sleeping compartment.
Yep.
You can be abducted and taken
I get
away.
the freaking goosebumps just talking about it. But she says she thinks that guy saved her life. Because he knew, and I think she said when she was driving away, she looked over and the guy who come up and talked to her had a tire iron in his hand. He was like protecting her.
Rest stops are notorious for.
I tell my wife to freaking pee yourself before you stop at one of those places. I mean, they're horrific.
Yeah, go find a place with people.
I don't even stop.
Find a restaurant.
So you got to think though, if it's a rest stop, it's late at night,
right?
And you pull in there, you may or may not be the only one there. And whether you're a woman, a female, or a man, it doesn't matter. You walk in. You walk into a bathroom.
You're vulnerable.
There's one way in and one way out.
Yeah.
You're vulnerable, yes, but you've got to come back out.
Yeah.
And you're not alert to what's going on to the right, what's going on to the left of you. You don't know. You don't know who's waiting for you. You don't know who's followed you in or how many people have followed you in, meaning to mug you, beat you, rape you, whatever it might be.
Yeah, whatever.
And so rest areas are like a no-go, man. They're like they're pretty freaking slimy, if you ask me.
Yeah, they should be avoided. It's unless there's, you'll find some that they will have law enforcement on site. Not a problem. Everything's cool. Everything's good because nobody's going to go in there starting trouble.
Right.
Other than that, you get some of these places that aren't well lit, and and
it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, they can get ugly. So
you're an easy target.
I haven't stopped at a rest area in years, but I've heard. I used to listen. I can't remember. I was trying to think about it. I used to listen to back when podcasts were first coming out. I'd listen. There's a couple that I listened to, and he had numerous people on there tell horror stories at freaking rest areas.
Yeah,
where a guy's got just a crap beat out of him, and their wallet taken, their keys, their car taken. The guy was left all bloody and beat up in the freaking bathroom stall. I mean, this is some crazy, crazy stuff.
Well, you got people that'll kill you over tennis shoes.
Oh, yeah.
They'll kill you over $20 in your wallet. And it's, if I don't,
well,
if you don't have a witness, it's harder to catch you, even though the penalty will be greater.
Well, it's so much easier at a rest area because you got to think. The interstate's right there.
Yeah.
This guy's got to do their thing, and then within seconds, they're back on the interstate doing 80 miles an hour. Who's going to catch up with them at that point?
Yeah, and what rest areas have any kind of video surveillance? Not many. Yeah.
No,
not many. They don't spend much money on those.
Right.
And it's a target-rich area. Not only that, you've constantly got people coming in and out. You can wait till somebody comes up in a nice-looking car or RV or something that and go to town. And so, yeah.
Yeah, no rest areas here.
No.
I tell my kids when we travel, if you freaking hold it, here's a bottle. So, GPS says we're going to make it in 4 hours. I'm going to make it in 3 hours and, 60, or 3 hours and 54 seconds or some crap like. I'm going to beat that damn GPS. We ain't stopping for nothing.
Well, go buy Coke at some place at a truck stop, but park in a nice area for it.
Truck stops are still greasy, man.
Well,
they're not as bad, but they're still greasy.
Well, when you go to, what was that, don't park, be careful where you park at. But there it's a lot more, it's well lit, it's got cameras, and there's a lot more people around, and they have staff. They have people that actually work there. Generally, you have somebody in security, from working some of the places we do.
Right.
The truck stops, we'll have a man in a security booth watching the cameras. So it's not the same as a rest area. Rest areas are
you got that, or
bad.
Or you got the pest control guy walking around with his B&G pumped up with,
and he's probably got a handgun.
God, I hope our new boss doesn't listen to this. Oh man. So, I think. Got anything else? Anything else happened in the news?
We've just been rambling. I don't know.
No, we've been rambling. This is good. This is good content, man.
Well, the fight for the Second Amendment is on with the Supreme Court. They're pulling out all stops.
Oh yeah,
it's
always
ridiculous. Yeah, it's.
I was following it, but you know what? I just kind of gave up following it. I got so busy with. I got to live my life.
It makes me too angry.
I got to live my life every now and then.
Not that the stuff they pull, but the stuff they're allowed to get away with. It's like, dude, for God's sakes, man.
Okay, I got one. I got a story. Did you see the
Okay.
one I sent to you early this morning?
Yeah.
It says I'm gonna go ahead and it's man shoots 2 of Prince George's cops sent to wrong home to serve warrant. He won't be charged.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
And Prince George, where?
Forestville, MD. So Maryland.
Okay.
It says 2 Prince George's County police officers were injured after a man opened fire with a shotgun at the Forestville apartment building where they were attempting to serve a warrant around 10 p.m. on Wednesday. The man who fired the gun will not be charged. That's because he was not the suspect they were after. So they went to the wrong place. It says the officers were attempting to serve a warrant at the 2700 block of Loring Drive where they thought a suspect in a drug case lived. The man who actually lives there was defending himself from what he thought was a home invasion.
You should not have no-knock warrants. I don't care if it's for the guy that you're after or not, because the guy don't know it. And when you
Right.
come hitting the door at 2 o'clock in the morning and you come up with this drug charge, which is most of the time something stupid. You can pick the guy up on the street. You can swing in with a couple of cars. You can grab him. Not as big a problem. When you go kicking open the door at 2 o'clock in the morning, nobody knows what's going on. Who knows what other family members he has in there. And you go in throwing flashbang grenades or whatever, and it's all fun and all this stuff.
Did you read the article?
No.
Okay. I like where you're going with that, and I agree 100%, but let me finish reading the article. This
Oh,
is going to have
I thought you would do
This
it.
is going to have... No, I wanted to get your take on that.
Okay.
You're just going to have you raising your eyebrows. At a Thursday press conference, the chief called the man a law-abiding, hard-working citizen who did not know police officers were attempting to enter his residence. He fired a single shot
Wow.
before the door was open and acted to protect himself and protect his daughter.
Before the front door was open?
Yep. Our investigation led us to the wrong address. However, we did not serve a search warrant at the wrong address. Police said both officers were flown to Baltimore, shock trauma, but their injuries are non-life-threatening. One officer was shot in the hand, the other was shot in the shoulder.
That helped him a lot, I promise you.
But they didn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that he shot through the... I don't know,
Were they
man.
beating on the door when he shot?
I read you word for word everything in the article.
Yeah,
I have no clue. Interesting.
Yeah, what time was it that this happened?
Yeah, it may have said I didn't catch it if it did.
Okay. Tell you what, if you can avoid going to someone's home for any reason, don't do it.
I tell you what,
Pick them up somewhere else. It's a drug. It's not a murder charge. It's a drug charge.
Right.
And if you think there's drugs on premises, arrest the guy off-site and have another team there ready to go in.
Right.
And you may have to, if somebody else is there, you may have to have a confrontation. But you want to avoid that as much as possible.
So, if anyone comes over to I go to bed early. I don't know when everyone else goes to bed, but I'm assuming it's 10 or 11 o'clock at my house. I mean, I'm way asleep by then. But if you come to my house and my wife wakes me up and says, "Hey Todd, someone's at the door,"
Yeah.
okay, I'm answering the door with a handgun in my hand, with a firearm of some kind, whether you see it or not. It's there. So this is years ago. We had
I answer the door with a handgun.
yeah.
If
Anyway,
it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't see it,
right.
but it's like, who's knocking on my door? Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We my daughter had a friend and this kid like ran away or something.
Right.
But they looked at his cell phone and he was the last person that had texted my daughter or
Right.
Snapchatted or whatever the hell it is. And so the cops came to my door at like 1:30 in the morning
Wow.
and said, "Hey, is Journey?" I'll give my kid's name. Is so and so was your daughter here? Yeah. Well, is so and so here? I don't think he's here. I said, "Well, can we speak to your daughter?" So I went and got my daughter, and anyhow, she had to tell them when's the last time, what he said and whatever. But I answered that door, and once I realized it was law enforcement,
Right.
I actually let him in the house, and it was a gal from the sheriff's department. And I opened the door, and I had my gun hanging down to my side, and when I turned around and opened the door, I turned around and set the firearm up on the piano, and I know she saw it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's she going to do? She's at my residence. But that's what I'm going to do, especially if it's in off hours and you come to my house. I'm going to have a firearm in my hand somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. No one comes to visit me anyway. If they do, what do I tell you when you say you're coming for the podcast? Doors open to the war room. Let yourself in. But anyhow,
well, unless you have a lot of people coming to your. For me, I know when somebody's coming to my house.
right.
They're going to call and say, "Hey, I'm coming to your house." Other than that, nobody comes to my house.
Yeah.
And especially if it's in off hours, but pretty much any time, I have a handgun.
Yeah.
And I have cameras outside, so I can see you when you're coming up.
Oh,
So
sweet. I'm going to moon you next time.
I'll send the picture to the sheriff's department.
Going to rub my greasy butt cheek all over your window right for that camera. So, anyhow, well, Tarver, do you have anything else? I think that's the bigger.
I think that kind of killed it, man.
The bigger, thinking about why do I always give too much information on these things?
I don't know. I do too. I shouldn't tell people I have all my doors, but I think it's a good safety tip.
No, it is.
Lock the doors behind you. Go through the bedroom. Even if I'm going to the bathroom, I lock doors. Lock the bedroom door. Lock the bathroom door.
Not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, and
I like that
mainly
tip.
for when I go to sleep. The more doors you have to go through, the more noise you have to make. Not only that, if you have a glass door, you may be able to break that, and not have to kick in the door. You can break a pane of glass, reach in and unlock it. I'd never hear you coming. Got another door, you're going to have to make noise on.
Well, and I tell everyone this too, especially if you buy a new house, you have a house. I know nice flower beds and stuff look really nice, but if you got bushes and stuff in front of the house, right up next, they're in front of the windows, cut them things down, get rid of them, leave it open.
Be able to see.
Especially if you live in town. Because if you got someone there working on getting in your house and that law enforcement officer is cruising through your neighborhood at midnight, he needs to be able to see that there's a person trying to get into your house and they're not just hiding behind bushes, able to do what they want and take as much time as they need to.
Yeah, they look nice. And not only that, what amazes me is how many people don't leave lights on at night. I mean, what does it cost you?
I got a light.
$1
I got a
month?
light on my front porch. I don't think we've shut it off since we bought the house.
I never turn my lights off. They
Right.
on. Not only that, if I'm out of town, you don't know if I'm out of town because my lights are on 24/7 outside.
Right.
So they stay on, and I have the LED lights, so they're not burning out.
Well, if you're out of town, the lights are on because I'm over there eating jambalaya and going through your ammo.
Well, you'll see half the houses in the neighborhood have their lights off, and I'm like, why do you do that? It's just a light. It's a light bulb, dude. Leave it on, and I leave it on daytime
Put like a 40
and night,
water
so nobody
in there, dude.
knows.
It's gonna cost you pennies.
Well, I mean, it's just worth it. You want to be able to. Not only that, the more light that's on your house, the less people want to mess with that house.
Right.
They want to go find the dark house.
Oh yeah.
And you have a dark house and a car parked outside. A lot of times people ain't even locking their doors. You can go rummage through their car.
That, my friend, is why I have a ton of vehicles at my house.
Spares.
I keep people guessing whether or not somebody's home. Or they pull up and go, did they live in the house or that car that's on blocks over there?
If I'm away from home, it'll be the car out of the garage, so you won't know it.
Right.
So I'm good.
Right. Keep people guessing.
Yeah. I don't want them to know. And if I'm out of town, I may inadvertently turn on some inside lights sometimes at night. You can get this stuff cheap. You can get cameras cheap.
Yeah.
You can get the light switches cheap.
And that's all part of that defensive mindset.
Yeah.
It's thinking about being defensive, living defensively, I guess. Being prepared. It's all encompassing.
Yeah. But you can set up a socket and plug your TV into it, and sometimes during the night, or if you see something or your alarm goes off for your camera, turn that TV on loud.
Yeah.
People think you're there, they leave. I mean, it's cheap. It's really cheap for stuff like that. It's no longer things like that used to be cost prohibitive. You couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, you had to invest thousands of dollars. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. So just think, people. The more people that move into this freaking area over here, the more crime's going to go up.
And we watching you.
The more your stuff's going to get stolen. So, anyhow, I think we'll wrap it up. But I will give out our Patriot Defense Podcast hotline. Can you read that?
I can. Podcast hotline is 1-208-696-4397.
It's 1-208-696-4397. Call in if you got a self-defense story, you got a question, you got a comment, you call anything. Just you don't like the show, and who knows? You think the audio is crappy on Facebook Live? Just
None of it's my fault.
none of it's Tarver's fault. This is my doing. So anyhow, give us a call. Let us know you're listening. We'll put your call on the air. And if you want to email us, you can do that at patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. That's patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. And until then, we're going to have a special guest, I think, next weekend. So we'll, a special guest. Someone besides us is going to be here. So that's pretty freaking special. So until then, you guys have a good week.